Hey guys, welcome back to another week of E-commerce Marketing Chats with myself, Charles, and the main man, Jimmy. Jimmy, how's it going, mate?
Good. I feel like I've been on Zoom calls all day today, so it's nice to have a little break and then jump on another one with you. But yeah, it's been a bit of a hectic week. I might start off with a story that from one of my clients this week, but I just see it happening like still like in this industry. So what happened was they got a full website redesign, right? So they had some problems with their website. They wanted it fixed. They went for a full redesign. Um, but a couple of mistakes that they made. One, they didn't keep like their freelancers that had working on SEO or Google Ads in the loop. So the site went live, and we were being told in February that it was going live. So I was checking it, and they just didn't tell anyone. And then a lot of the apps stopped working. Their Google Analytics code was removed from the site on the website change. They changed the homepage, and the homepage before had a lot of text on it, and now their like rankings have completely tanked for like keywords that were their homepage was ranking for. Their Google Ads lost probably like 5 days of data because I didn't know that they updated the website, and then we were doing a GA4 goal import on that particular client, which was a pain. It's like one of the only ones I've got it done, and then they stripped the GA4 tracking code from the website from the redesign. So something that they've spent like $12,000 on to like improve results, the start of this month, they've already lost 13,000 on what they did last month. So yeah, and I really like these guys too. So it's looking at it, and I'm trying to help them out as much as I can, but even like going outside the scope of Google Ads. So I'm like, you need to change this, and this. But there's a whole list, but it's not what you want to hear as a business owner when you've just invested like 12 grand in the site, and then you've got all these problems, and you've actually lost more revenue from the period of the month last month than you did like forking out all this money for a website redesign. So there's a couple of lessons here that if you are looking to getting your website redesigned, that one, you need to keep the stakeholders that are doing your marketing in the loop every step of the way and get their feedback. And two, you need to work with someone reputable that knows what they're doing with like a website change. I'm not sure the website looks slightly better. I wouldn't say it's a wow, like it's heaps better visually. And there's a few elements to it that are like a much better functionally. So for example, one of their products, you can upload a custom photo to, and you get that photo on that product. But before they upgraded the website, you had to like email them and then email them the photo. Like it wasn't an intuitive user experience. So they've improved things there, but they've just like destroyed the website in every marketing capacity you could imagine, like in the meantime. And it's pretty clear that whoever built the website had none of that in mind. It's just like, hey, let's just make this website look better. And now, for whatever reason, over the last 2 weeks, the site is just being hammered with spam. And I mean, like, they're getting, I don't know, like 500 visitors a month usually, and now their sessions are at like 8 to 9,000 a day, like, and their conversion rate has just gone to like 0.0 something because of all the spam traffic they're getting. So they are just getting hammered by one thing after the other. And to be honest with you, it sucks for them, but it's a series of poor decisions, and poor communication. And yeah, the stakeholders that we all like this client, they're great. So we're all doing everything we can to try to revive this site. But had a bit of life in the Google Ads this week, but far out, they've just I haven't even really told them straight how bad it is because it's a bit in like, how do you tell a business owner that just invested 12K, hey, like everything you did has made things worse?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's been
it's a
a
difficult
bit of
conversation.
a rough week on that front. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
exactly. And I think business owners get frustrated too, and it's just like I don't know the solution though, because there's the people that offer these services, they obviously market their own service as well. They just do they I don't even think the website wasn't absolutely horrible, but they've just like destroyed SEO and destroyed all the marketing tracking that was in there initially. And now it's just like trying to gather the momentum that was there beforehand, but instead they've got like a massive hole in revenue that's now missing. So I kind of want to tell this story for people in the e-commerce space to because I think, especially with AI coming, there's a lot of people that are probably going to offer really cheap website revamp services because the barrier to entry to kind of build these websites now is so low. And you can do some amazing things if you're kind of across the AI space, and especially with Claude Code being able to integrate directly into Shopify now and design themes and change themes. Like that stuff is going to the cost to get that done is going to come down dramatically because the expertise needed is much lower, and the really good level of expertise that you do need, they can kind of do it more at scale now. Like it's faster for them, even with these kind of AI integrations. But I would say that there's a lot to changing a website, and it's not just about the aesthetics. If you're looking to get your website redone, the number one focus should be conversion rate because that's all that matters. If you're updating your website, you're only doing it because you think it's going to increase conversion rate. If you're doing it for aesthetics, and it doesn't increase conversion rate, what's the point? Like, why? If you're going to change something on your website and it's not going to improve how many people are purchasing on it, there is literally no point to it at all. But I think this client went into it with the expectation to fix a few of the UX and with the goal of, I guess, of increasing conversion rate. And it's just had some of the UX features have improved, but the conversion rate's tanked and they've lost a lot of organic traffic. So I'm sure you've got
yeah.
your own horror stories, Charles, for website migrations that you've seen just absolutely tank as well, with zero communication and just someone that doesn't know what they're doing or haven't done it before jumping in the deep end and saying, yeah, this is a great idea. And then they don't quite realize the consequences of basically what they've just done to their business until it's too late.
Yeah, I wish I'd like to say that I have never seen any brand commit any, you know, poor website migrations, but I would be lying to you, Jimmy. There's been, I've done a few audits over the years, and I've seen a few. Yeah, I've seen plenty of horror stories. But everything from a site that had basically migrated their blog off of their main website onto a subdomain, or actually, sorry, onto a brand new domain, and the owner wasn't even aware of this, and they lost basically all of their blog traffic, which was a significant amount of their overall traffic. I've seen sites that have been migrated with no SEO titles moved over or descriptions, and basically that's just tanked all their page rankings. I mean, I could go on and on. There's been numerous occasions where I've come in, unfortunately, after the fact, and that's the problem. Most brands, they hire, if you need a new website, you hire a web agency or a slash branding agency. The problem is a lot of these agencies, they just focus on that one area, and they don't typically tend to have a good oversight of even just the SEO foundations and making sure that you're mitigating risk when you're, launching a brand new website and or migrating across to a different domain, etc. There's so many different scenarios. But yeah, it's very unfortunate, especially for the owner of the business who's invested a large chunk of money and think they're going to get effectively a better product that's going to sell them more, and actually they've gone backwards. So yeah, it's super important to make sure that you've got the foundations in place from tracking to SEO to your ad setup, and make sure that you don't lose any of that momentum that you've already gained over the years.
Might even be, I just thought about it then. It might even be worth us like putting our brains together and just creating like a checklist for, hey, if you want to update your website, these are all the things that you should consider before you do it. So Charles and I might put our heads together and do that and post it in the Facebook group at Shopify Marketing Secrets. So if you go in there and just comment checklist, we'll put one together, because even after this week, they should have checked this, they should have checked that, they should have checked this. So yeah, I think the important thing too is just keeping people in the loop, because if you tell, like, if they had told me the day that the website would have been live, I would have been checking it thoroughly and making sure everything was working properly. It probably could have like mitigated like some of the damage, but they didn't tell me for 2 weeks after it went live. So
Yeah,
um
that's crazy.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's like, and when you're managing Google Ads, you're not like actively going on their website like every day. So I'm not checking if the website's new or not.
Yeah.
And even if I was, to be honest, the changes were, I thought, pretty minor. So I probably would have been questioning myself whether this was the live new website or not anyway. So,
Yeah, yeah. You just thought it was a slight, yeah,
but
slight
yeah,
refresh with a few pages. Yeah, I think also it's
yeah,
especially with if you've got a larger scale e-commerce store, Shopify store, and you've got, hundreds, if not thousands of product SKUs, it's even more important because the migration becomes a lot more complex, when you're redesigning a site. Just, it's not necessarily complex, but if you don't have the foundations in place, then it's a real mess because you haven't set up the right redirects, all those type of things that are important, to make sure that, yeah, you don't lose any potential rankings. But yeah, these situations happen.
this client too, like on one of their on one of their hero products, right? They had in brackets in the product title like Melbourne and Sydney, and when I had a call with them, I'm like, oh, does this particular product only ship to Melbourne and Sydney? I was like, no, it's Australia wide. I'm like, why does it say this? Like, if I was coming from anywhere other than Melbourne and Sydney, there's no way I'm purchasing this. It looks like it's only for Melbourne and Sydney, and they're like, oh, we were trying to rank for Melbourne and Sydney. I'm like, no, that's not how this works. Like, you can't put that in a product title. You can't put the location in a product title. Um, and then you're basically cutting off anyone that's not from Melbourne and Sydney when you do ship it Australia wide. It's been a bit of coaching, I think, this week for them, and yeah, I just wish the communicate. It's if you're a business owner listening to this, or an e-commerce owner, and you do have freelancers and other people managing certain parts of your marketing, and you haven't spoken to them in a while, I find this as a media buyer, I had tried to get this client on a call for 2 months. I just have not been able to. You need to be communicating with the people that are running those aspects of your business. No matter how busy you are, you need to make time. At the minimum once a month. You should be talking to your media buyer at an absolute minimum once a month. And yeah, honestly, it helps me do my job too. If I know what's happening in the business, I know what's important to you. I like talking to my clients. Some media buyers will say, if I don't hear from the client, it's great, blah, blah, blah. I don't like operating like that. I want to work with you. I want to hear from you, what's working, what's happening in the business, and making sure what I'm doing is aligned with what's going on. It helps get the results. And Charles, I know you're the same. I know you find it hard to get onto some of your clients as well, but when you do get them on the call and you have a really constructive conversation, it makes a big difference for the results. Even over the next week, you can notice it. So yeah, I think if you are an e-commerce business owner and you haven't spoken to your media buyer for a while, get onto them. And I will say this, from the media buying side, the clients that get onto chat regularly and are in communication with you, it's one of those. It's almost like, what do they say, the squeaky wheel gets the oil or something like that. It's like, if you're on the top of that media buyer's mind, if you have two tasks that you have to do today, and it's between a client that you hear from regularly versus a client that you never hear from, you're going to do the client first that you hear from regularly. Like, it's It's just how it works.
Yeah, it's exactly the same for if if you've got an SEO agency on board. The same with immediate. Like I'm exactly the same as you, Jimmy. Like I want to. There's certain things that I need approval on for my clients. Being able to publish new pages, or maybe I've spotted an opportunity to build out a new collection page, which has got a decent amount of searches per month. But I want to know from the client, are they actually selling that product, or do they have enough products within that collection to build out a new collection page? But if I there'll be scenarios where I might not hear back from that client for a month, 2 months, which it's just it's too long. Basically, it just extends that time in terms of getting that page executed, and it just means that results will take it's going to take longer to see results. So yeah, that is certainly probably one of the frustrating parts about kind of service providers and what we do. But yeah, if you're paying, you're paying us.
Let me give you an example of one of the clients that I was working with recently. So I did get on a call with them, and I was like, "Oh, this product that you've got is absolutely flying!" Like, I've started to do a little bit more optimization around it. He's like, and then he said to me, "Oh, I haven't told you, I've heavily discounted that product because I don't want to sell it anymore." So it's like if I hadn't have got on the call with him, I would have just been looking at the data and like, oh, the conversions for this product are huge. Like it's flying off the shelves. Like, let's do some more dedicated campaigns for this. Let's build some more stuff around it. It would have been a complete waste of time because as soon as he's sold out of that, it's not coming back onto the store. So you can look at the data all you want in the account, but unless you've got context sometimes from the business owner, then like there's nothing in the Google Ads account that would have told me that this particular client doesn't want to, even after over the scope of a week, you'll have a much better kind of just overall picture of what's actually happening in your business. I don't understand it. If it's my e-commerce business, I'd be wanting to speak to my media buyer almost weekly.
Yeah, I think maybe there's the assumption that, and whether this comes with educating the clients that we work with, but there comes with the assumption that maybe okay, Charles knows what he's doing, Jimmy knows what he's doing, I don't need to get involved at all. But I think the problem is when you're focusing on one area of marketing that e-commerce store, there's crossover with other areas, website,
Yeah, definitely.
email, digital PR. These all impact the results potentially that your area or your area of expertise can get, i.e. SEO, Google Ads. So that's maybe my assumption. Or sometimes, as always, founders are just stretched and they get too busy and they just forget. Just especially obviously, in most cases they're hiring an agency that are working remotely. They're not in the same premises as that e-commerce store. Yeah, these situations happen, but communication, like you said, is key. I think as we've highlighted in this episode, based on the situation that Jimmy has experienced with one of his clients this week.
Let's transition off that now and just talk about what's happening in the AI space again for e-commerce and marketing. So Claude this week has just released Claude Design, and I have already seen a few videos and examples of people using it to build out like complete emails for Klaviyo. Yeah, if you are wanting to experiment with that, it's definitely worth it. It's so new. Like, I'd love to give you guys more insight on it, but it's literally been out for 2 days, I think. So I haven't had a good play around with it yet, but
I just tested it out actually,
everything
Jimmy.
too. Oh, you
On
did? What do you
on
think?
Sunday. I was sitting there watching a movie. Sitting there watching American Gangster, the movie. I don't know if anyone's seen that. It's a good movie if you haven't seen it. And I was just on my laptop, kind of planning for the week ahead, and I saw a tweet come out from Claude's account, and yeah, I just set it up. I was very impressed with what it can do. Like, so all I did basically was I just I set up what they call a design system. So it incorporated what it is that I do with my brand colors. And then I just uploaded a proposal template, a few documents, and it created me like a really well designed new document, which quite honestly, if I was a graphic designer, I would be worried. It would was my
I
first
think
thought.
I think the graphic designers were worried a long time before
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Claude design even came out. But now, so it's just people have described it as like Canva on steroids. So I just saw it's funny actually because I saw Canva announce that they've got a new integration with Claude, but I didn't see Claude announce any partnership with
Yeah,
Canva at all. All they announced was, "Hey, we've got Claude Design now." So it's funny, like you literally, it's almost like the Trojan horse. It's so funny to watch in real time. Like Claude is getting like built into all these other SaaS companies that they're eventually just going to squash. It's
yeah,
like it's
absolutely.
it's crazy to watch. Yeah,
It's
it's
almost
like
like
Claude is like
Amazon,
the
isn't it?
Trojan horse going in. Just
Yeah. No, no, you're right. It's almost, the analogy that I would use, or the similar situation I saw, was, you remember with Amazon. So Amazon, you had people that were able to sell on Amazon, and the best sellers were always eventually sold by Amazon. They would create their own version, and so it's slightly different, but it seems like yeah, Claude are,
Yeah,
they're
it's a
coming
it's a
after
supermarket
all
model
SaaS
too. Like
basically.
the best sellers, the supermarkets just end up creating their own like home brand version of it. Yeah, it's like whoever's got the data. But Claude, I've never seen a company ever kind of ship features as fast as what Claude has. It's just insane. Like every time we talk, Charles, they've like shipped out 3 new features.
That's crazy. And this is like on a weekly basis as well. We're literally having, like, so now they've got, effectively, you've got the whole suite. You've got Claude as a general kind of chat bot. You've got Claude code for coding, building out those systems, apps. You've then got Claude Cowork, which allows you to autonomously give tasks out to Claude agents. And now you've got Claude Design on top of that as well. And what I'm seeing is they're going to start to kind of integrate even more effectively together. So there's going to be kind of, I would assume that Claude Design is going to more effortlessly collaborate with Claude Code to build out, apps,
Yeah,
websites.
well, I just saw today they've well, actually it wasn't today, it was like 4 days ago, but they've apparently redesigned the desktop app as well. I haven't played around with it yet, but apparently it's going to reduce the need for like an IDE for when you're coding. So basically make cursor or VS Code like redundant. So they're working towards that too. But just before we started hit record on the show, Charles and I were just briefly talking about. Charles was talking about keyword research for co-work, and how it's not quite there yet. And from the last meeting I went to on AI, the thing uh, they always say like AI is as good as it needs to. It can be basically like it could do anything that you can do, but where people are going is they're putting in baseline information and expecting like the results at the level that they have the knowledge of. So the key thing that I took away from everything is that the AI platform should be seen as almost an employee. And you imagine a new employee coming into your business that doesn't know anything or know how to do anything. And you're just saying to them, for example, like, okay, do this keyword research and see what they come up with. I still think AI is going to be better than that employee, but you need to train the AI almost as if it's an employee, almost step by step. With You can create a Claude skill for a repeatable task, for example, if it's keyword research, and like try to instill as much as your knowledge into that as you can. And I think you'll notice that the results kind of improve dramatically. It's what I've seen from, if I give an example too, I've tested like a few product feed optimizers for Google Ads or whatever. But I was never quite happy with them. They never quite gave the output that I want. And I'm like, okay, it's not the AI. It's the person that's built this doesn't have the same knowledge that I have in this industry and what I'm looking for. So it's why like there's a lot of solutions out there, but I like building my own because it's got the nuances that with how I like to operate, and I'm kind of teaching it to think and do how I would do it. But it's a process. So I think when you are working with AI, I think everyone needs to keep that in mind. If you're building something out, sure, it's got the knowledge of everything that's on the internet, but if you want to do it, if you want it to do the process that you would do, then you've really got to have good systems in place. You've got to teach it, and you've got to, like, once it does the skill, if it does something wrong or something that you wouldn't do, then you've got to teach it. You've got to say, hey, basically just talk to it like you would an employee. Hey, I saw you did this, but I really need you to operate this way, and can you remember it in future and add it to the skills so when you go to do it again, this is how it's done in future. So I think, I think people need to definitely put in the hours to train it. I think that's where a lot of people are falling down for some of the tasks that are being produced by AI at the moment.
Yeah, for sure. And like I said, the more specific and tailored the input, the better the output. Um, I like the idea of what you said, Jimmy, about, treating it like a junior employee. What do you do with a junior employee? Typically, you give it plenty of directions, and also you probably provide it with some form of SOP, which, if we're thinking about this in the AI world, we're talking about, Claude skill, or, a set of clear whether it's like an MD file. So yeah, no, completely agree there. I think you're right. It can be incredible, but you do need to give it the right inputs.
I think when we have a chat next week, we'll probably have another 5 new features to talk about with Claude as well. But I'm keen to see the design side more. I'm keen, definitely interested in testing that out a little bit more myself. But yeah, I'll be building a couple of tools for clients and students this week around helping them optimize their product titles. Product titles is a interesting one too, because everyone likes to optimize them in slightly different ways. And again, this is where I want to put my knowledge into the AI and, like, hey, this is how I want the product title written. Because sometimes the product titles are written and I was like, no, that isn't it. I mean, I know that's a template that was in this skill, but like we need to alter this. The brand isn't that strong, so we can't be having the brand name at the front of the product title, taking up the whole real estate. Because this is the thing, people get like generic recommendations for product titles, like, oh, you need the brand name at the front. And sure, it makes sense if you're selling a supplement and it's like the well-known brand. So, for example, like Herbs of Gold in Australia is a well-known supplement brand. Most of the product titles, when you look it up in Google, say Herbs of Gold and then what the product is, like vitamin C or vitamin D or whatever it is. But just think you've got, like, I don't know, Uncle Joe's card trading shop. And then you're like, "Oh, I need my brand name at the front of this." And you're selling like Pokemon cards. And then the product title says Uncle Joe's card trading shop. And that's all you can see in the product title. You need to think about that. So when people are saying, "I'll put your brand name at the front," like, sure, if it's got brand equity and it's strong and it's a household name, but especially in like tech product, for example, like Sony headphones, for example, but you're not going to put a brand name if you're selling, say you're selling, I'm trying to think of a good example, like fish, I don't know, fish aquariums or something, and the brand name is like, I don't know, like Melbourne Fish Tank Store or something. You're not going to have Melbourne Fish Tank Store at the front of the title and then like 1 by 3 meter fish aquarium after that. It makes no sense with the brand name at the front for that kind of product title. So there are nuances to each and every category, and I think I'm trying to build that out in my like title building description at the moment. And it's actually, I've been really impressed with the output. So I'm hoping to roll that out in scale for a few clients and a few students. But yeah, man, we've already hit the half an hour. This call went fast
Nice.
tonight. I think I enjoyed the topics that we covered tonight. So hopefully the people listening did too. Is there anything else that you wanted to touch on, Charles, before we wrap up?
No, I don't think so. I think we could go on for probably another hour, couldn't we, Jimmy? But
Yeah.
I think that kind of wraps things up nicely. One thing I actually just quickly to finish on, I was reading an article from Shopify, and just a bit of kind of positive news. It said the headline is "The Most Future-Proof Job," and it's got entrepreneurship, and it's talking about how there's a number of different stats here. Like more people are starting businesses now more than ever in 2026. It said here since 2018, the number of Shopify merchants who have made a first sale has increased by 7x. So, as much as there's a lot of doom and gloom with regards to traditional markets and the traditional job market, I think if you are an e-commerce store founder or you're thinking about starting a store, now is, the best time to do it. There's with the tools out there and how easy it is to get a product to market now. Not to say that, building a store is easy, but it's the easiest it's ever been in terms of being able to get started. So hopefully if you're listening to this podcast, you'll get some good insights with regards to the marketing side of things. So I'll share this article in the episode notes, and so people can kind of take a look at it. But there's a few kind of useful data stats from Shopify own website. So yeah, exciting times ahead though, in terms of what can be achieved now with AI and all this technology and building out like an e-commerce store that's not reliant on huge overheads.
Yeah, definitely. I think we'll wrap it up there. So if people want to check us out, you can check us out at Ecommerce Marketing Chats on the podcasting platforms, or come say hello to us on Facebook at Shopify Marketing Secrets, and we'll catch you there. We'll see you next week, guys.